Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. This is your host, Ryan Kennedy, and today's topic is about healing and recovering from an injury or a surgery, any physical trauma to the body. What can we do to accelerate the body's healing response? And, unfortunately, as great as modern medicine can be, this is information that's not typically provided. I mean, I've gone through my fair share of injuries and, getting access to state-of-the-art technologies like x-rays and MRIs and surgical procedures is so freaking amazing. But after those surgical procedures or after a broken bone, your physician puts you in a cast, they don't really tell you, hey, what foods should you be eating versus avoiding? What supplements or nutrients should you be taking? What lifestyle habits should you be incorporating to, all speed the healing process? And this is a very important thing to consider because nutrition, the vitamins, minerals, and micronutrients are the raw materials that our bodies need to create and heal broken bones, to heal, different damage to the skin, to make sure that we minimize scarring and to minimize chances of infection by supporting the immune system. And to, there's a ton of examples, but ultimately that is what this video and this podcast is going to cover, is how to really optimize this stuff. So like I said, I've had my fair share of injuries, particularly the biggest surgery I had was a knee surgery where I tore my ACL, my MCL, and both my medial and lateral menisci back in 2016. And like I said, it was miraculous that the orthopedic surgeon was able to do this surgery. It was an outpatient procedure, got things relatively fixed up in there. But then they just kind of send you on your way. Say, hey, take these antibiotics prophylactically, which personally I did not do. Not going to tell anyone out there not to take their prescribed medications. That's between you and your physician. But I didn't want to decimate my gut microbiome, especially when there's no infection present, So I held on to them and said, hey, if something does get infected, I have these on hand. But ultimately, to get back on track, what can you do? So nutrition, the foods you eat are going to really dictate how quickly and efficiently your body will bounce back from a trauma like this. And the main things you want to avoid are alcohol, sugar, and refined carbohydrates. And then I'd add a fourth thing to that, which is rancid omega-6 vegetable oils. These foods will suppress your immune system. They'll add a lot of additional inflammation to your body, which you don't want, that chronic inflammatory load. As your body's already inflamed with this acute inflammation that's part of the healing process, they're going to lead to weight gain because obviously you're not doing a lot of physical activity if you just injured yourself, and numerous other issues. So you want to really focus. Your primary focus should be on high quality protein. Protein contains the amino acids and the building blocks to regenerate the body, to rebuild tissue. And it's also going to have a lot of the micronutrients, the bioavailable vitamins and minerals that you need for proper immune function, for cycling bone and cartilage and collagenous tissue. So it's really going to be a helpful thing. So the protein that you eat does really depend on the sourcing. You want to make sure you're getting high quality animal sources of protein that's going to be far more bioavailable than plant sources. So things like wild caught fish, grass-fed meats and organs, things like grass-fed beef and lamb and bison, as well as other types of broths made from the bones of these things. The bone broth is going to be tremendously helpful because it contains a high percentage of glutamine, proline, hydroxyproline, these specific amino acids that are very helpful for healing and regenerating tissues, as well as bringing in a lot of other constituents in a very easy to digest manner. So bone broth is going to be phenomenal. Next, moving on to sleep. Can't underestimate the importance of sleep when it comes to really allowing the body time to heal. And laying around, sitting on the couch, watching TV, that's not the same as being asleep, guys. So allow ample time for deep restorative sleep. I would say at least 8.5 to 9 hours. If you're in a recovery state, you need more sleep than usual. So while you might get away with 7 or 7.5 hours of sleep, I would add a couple hours a night to your usual sleep cycle to really provide the greatest benefit to your healing journey. Next on my list would be sensible sun exposure. Why are no surgeons telling their patients, get out in the sunshine after surgery? This is so freaking important. Getting out, especially peak day, and exposing as much of your skin to the sun has countless benefits to your recovery, your overall health. I've done extensive episodes on this. If you search sun exposure on this feed, you will see the most comprehensive one I've done to date was a few months back, and it's everything you need to know about sensible sun exposure. So that's going to be key because the infrared light that's emitted from the sun is very healing to the skin, very healing to the body, supports the immune system, helps with your energy. It also is going to be transformative for your mental health. One of the biggest things when it comes to healing from an injury or surgery that not everyone takes into as much consideration as they should is your mental and emotional health. When you're laid up and you're not able to do the things you enjoy, you're not able to exercise, you're not able to, maybe spend time with friends. For me, I wasn't able to surf or mountain bike or paddleboard or do all the things that bring so much joy and happiness to my life. I get freaking depressed. You feel like shit if you're not able to do these things. And you also are feeling just lethargic and lousy because you're laying around all day. And that doesn't make anyone feel good, whether you're injured or not. And laying out in the sun is something you can do and something that's going to massively boost your mental health and upregulate those beta endorphins and upregulate certain neurotransmitters and really leave you feeling freaking fantastic. So that's huge. Next up on this list, in terms of lifestyle and various strategies to be mindful of when healing would be grounding and earthing. So the simple practice, kicking your shoes off, walking barefoot on the earth surface. Now I understand if you broke a lower limb, you probably can't do this. If you had a surgery where you literally are laid up in bed, you can't move around very much, this might be out of the cards for a little while. While there are grounding mats and technologies you could use, nothing compares to just getting outside and getting your bare feet on the ground. And that could be the grass, at the park or your backyard or your front yard. That could be the beach, which is my favorite way to do it, because if you're walking on the sand at the beach, the increase in the electrons being transferred to your body is much greater because of the moisture in the ground, improving that electrical conductivity. So it's just, you're absorbing this vast supply of electrons, and these electrons are literally absorbed through your feet and provide a massive reduction in inflammation and really promote the healing response. So this is a huge thing. Low-hanging fruit, guys. It's easy, it's free, and it's freaking enjoyable. Just go for a beach walk around your yard, walk around at the park or the trail, whatever, area you can walk safely barefoot on the earth. It's going to be awesome. And then meditation and mindfulness practices. This is key. The science clearly demonstrates your thoughts have a strong impact on your physical well-being. Dr. Joe Dispenza's work is what first opened me up to this concept many, many years ago. And hundreds of scientific studies have confirmed the power of the mind-body connection. And so I urge you to explore guided meditations, visualization techniques, literally visualizing yourself getting better, and any other mindfulness practice that enhances your mental state. You literally have nothing to lose with that and so much to gain. Next, I'm going to transition to natural supplements to optimize your recovery after an injury or after surgery. And these are just 5 natural foods and supplements or superfood type supplements to really have a profound impact on your body's ability to heal. So the first one is collagen protein. Collagen is the most abundant protein in the body, plays a critical role in wound healing, and also is important for our skin, our connective tissue. And that's why earlier in this episode, I talked about the importance of bone broth, because that's the best food source of collagen. And so that's going to be ideal. So making your own bone broth or buying some store-bought bone broth and drinking anywhere from 12 to 20 ounces of that every day during your healing. It's going to be freaking awesome. The reality is, if you get injured in the summer, you probably don't want to drink much of hot bone broth. And on top of that, it's not always the most convenient thing to prepare or to buy. So instead of, or in addition to bone broth, adding a high quality collagen protein powder to your smoothie or to your tea or to your coffee, any warm beverage is going to be a phenomenal idea. So grass-fed collagen is going to be number 1. Number 2 is going to be vitamin C. Vitamin C is essential for your immune function and really vital for fending off any infections and keeping your body healthy while you heal from this physical trauma. The other thing about vitamin C is it's required for collagen synthesis. So it's been shown to help promote and increase the healing of bones, tendons, and ligaments. So those are just a few reasons why it's going to be a really good time to use vitamin C, but there's literally hundreds of benefits. And most animals, humans, humans, and I think it's bats are two of the exceptions, but most animals manufacture their own vitamin C. And in studies, they're shown to produce far more vitamin C. Their production goes up substantially in terms of during times of trauma, stress, or illness. And an injury or a surgery would probably categorize as two of those three, being trauma and stress. So humans don't create their own vitamin C internally, so it's a fantastic idea to bring in extra during these conditions. I don't really want to give any dosing recommendations, but that's going to be essential and really important. And there's lots of different forms of vitamin C. You could always leave a question in the comments if you want to know my favorite. Number 3 would be colostrum. Colostrum is the first food of life in mammals. It has over 200 active compounds that help with immune function, growth and repair, reducing inflammation, and so much more. It is literally the perfect superfood to aid the body in healing and recovering. And the reason for that is colostrum contains multiple growth factors that help create and repair connective tissue, as well as muscles. And it also really helps with the gut lining. And so for that reason, colostrum is one of my favorite supplements to use for healing leaky gut. But it's really rich in these proline-rich proline-rich peptides, PRPs, and that really helps to promote healing and reduce inflammation. Ultimately, colostrum is just it's the raw material that mammals have evolved with to sustain and develop young fetuses, young babies, whether it be a cow, whether it be a human, whether it be a goat. And so it's really an important factor to bring in good whole food source of colostrum. I'm going to link up my favorite colostrum in the show notes of this episode so that you can check out the one that I like, which is a liposomal delivery colostrum. I find to be absolutely fantastic. And, the quality is going to make a big difference in terms of the absorbability and the sourcing and a whole bunch of other factors. Moving forward from colostrum would be a good multiple vitamin, multiple mineral complex. This is going to provide you with a solid foundation of many essential vitamins and minerals and really prevent deficiencies, as well as bring in extra amounts of certain things that you may not be able to get enough of through your diet alone. Everything from vitamin D to vitamin K2 to vitamin A to magnesium to boron to silica to all these things that are required in higher amounts when you're healing from a physical trauma. Now, most multivitamins are trash. They've gotten a bad reputation because a lot of pharmaceutical companies have made products that use synthetic, low quality ingredients and toxic additives. But the truth is, if you're using a high quality product, it's a great idea to bring all these things into one. So you don't have 15 different supplement bottles to cover your bases on all these different nutrients that we just can't really get optimal amounts of through food alone. So I'm also going to make a link in the show notes for this episode of the multivitamin I use made by Mother Earth Labs. And the last thing on this list is systemic enzymes. Proteolytic enzymes are responsible for maintaining millions of functions in the body. Literally, enzymes are the catalyst for pretty much every chemical reaction in the body. And these enzymes are especially helpful in supporting the healing and repair in the body, which make them perfect to use for injury recovery or post-surgery. Now, systemic enzymes are very different than digestive enzymes. They must be taken on an empty stomach, which would mean 30 to 40 plus minutes before eating or 2.5 to 3+ hours after eating. So it's usually ideal just to take it right in the morning when you wake up, right before bed at night, assuming you don't eat the second you get out of bed and assuming you're not eating too close to bedtime. But these enzymes have a profound ability to reduce scar tissue, promote healing, and speed recovery. The ones I use are made by a company called World Nutrition. They're called Vitalzyme. They are not cheap, but boy, are they effective. And so that is a very effective supplement to use for a multitude of other reasons and other benefits, but especially in this context, I love to use it when it comes to healing from an injury. So that's my list, folks. 5 supplements. I could rattle off 45 more, but I'm going to save you the overwhelm and keep it to the most effective top picks. So if you've stuck with me this long, you're probably like, man, this is a lot of stuff, Ryan. But is it, spending about an hour a day, if that, just some of these lifestyle factors will just sprinkle right into your day. Just a little bit of online shopping for the supplements, investing a few $100s to speed and enhance the recovery and healing of your body seems well worth the cost and well worth the effort, in my opinion. Your health is your greatest asset. And every single strategy I covered in this episode will have wide-ranging benefits that go above and beyond just injury recovery. These are going to support longevity and support your immune system and support your mental and emotional well-being in so many ways. So I will happily spend a few extra bucks and some time each day if it means my body can bounce back faster, stronger, and more effectively following a physical trauma. It's really time, energy, and money well spent, if you ask me. So hope you found some value in this episode. Hope you apply the strategies I outlined here today. As always, leave me a message, send me an email, leave some comments. If you have feedback for me, I always love to hear from my listeners, and I will see you on the next episode. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. If you found it helpful, please share it along to anyone else you believe it can serve. You can submit your own question to be answered on the show by going to ryankennedyhealth.com/podcast. Be sure to subscribe and leave a review for the show. Your feedback helps to support me on my mission to positively impact as many people as possible with this information. Please note, the information depicted in this episode is purely for informational purposes only. Please consult your healthcare professional before making any changes to your lifestyle or routine.